This man challenged Elon Musk, and the whole world watched. One of Tesla's biggest events. The room is packed with hundreds of engineers, investors, and media representatives. In the center of the stage stands Elon Musk, explaining how Tesla's new AI technology could change the world. With every sentence, the audience erupts into applause, excitement filling the air. Then, from the very back of the room, a hand goes up. A young man with a worn-out backpack. No suit, no tie. It's clear he's not an engineer or an investor like the rest. But still, he speaks with boldness. Elon, my name is Isaiah. I have no home, no degree, but I built a robot with my own hands, and I need to show it to you. The room falls silent. Some people chuckle, others whisper in shock. An unhoused young man challenging one of the most powerful entrepreneurs in the world? Elon Musk lifts his head, squints slightly, and smirks. All right, can you prove something to me? At that moment, everything changes. Isaiah stands at the doorway of an opportunity that could redefine his entire life. But if he fails, get ready to witness the unbelievable journey of a young man who dared to dream. Because what you're about to see will leave you speechless. Elon Musk stood on stage at a Tesla event, addressing a packed audience of engineers, investors, and fans. He spoke about Tesla's latest advancements, breakthroughs in AI, autonomous driving, and battery technology that could revolutionize the automobile industry. The room buzzed with excitement, applause erupting every time he revealed something new. As he wrapped up his speech, he took a step back, crossed his arms, and smiled. All right, let's take some questions. Hands shot up across the room. Journalists, executives, and tech enthusiasts all vied for Elon's attention. He scanned the crowd, briefly considering the well-dressed professionals in the front rows. But then, something caught his eye. A young man sitting all the way in the back, dressed in worn-out clothes, looking completely out of place among the corporate elite. Elon pointed at him. You, in the back. The room turned silent, all eyes shifting toward the young man. He hesitated for a second before standing up. His voice was steady, but filled with urgency. Mr. Musk, my name is Isaiah. I'm 20 years old. I don't have a degree. I don't even have a home. But I built something, and I need you to see it. A wave of murmurs spread across the room. Some people chuckled under their breath, while others exchanged skeptical glances. A homeless young man asking for Elon Musk's attention? It sounded ridiculous. Elon raised an eyebrow, intrigued. You built something? Isaiah nodded and reached into his backpack, pulling out a small robotic arm. It wasn't polished or sleek like Tesla's machines. It was made from scrap metal, old wiring, and discarded electronics. This is a robotic arm I built from parts I found in junkyards. Right now, it can pick up objects and perform basic tasks, but I know I can make it better if I have the right resources. A few people snickered. The idea of a homeless young man claiming he could innovate in robotics was almost laughable to them. But Elon Musk didn't laugh. He leaned forward, studying the crude yet functional device. You built this in a garage? Isaiah straightened his shoulders. No, sir. I built it on the streets. The room fell silent again. Even those who had doubted him a second ago now seemed curious. Elon smirked. All right, Isaiah. Here's the deal. If you can improve your robot to solve a real-world problem in 3 weeks, I'll seriously consider offering you a job at Tesla. Gasps echoed through the audience. Elon Musk had just thrown down a challenge to a young man with no formal education, no funding, and no home. Isaiah's eyes burned with determination. Challenge accepted. That night, Isaiah couldn't sleep. He sat in the abandoned warehouse where he had been staying, staring at his robotic arm. This was his chance, his one shot at changing his life forever. But how? He had no money, no lab, no fancy tools. But he had something else: ingenuity. The next morning, he headed straight to the junkyard. He spent hours digging through piles of discarded electronics, searching for anything he could use. A broken motor? He could fix it. A damaged circuit board? He'd make it work. As he scavenged for parts, an idea formed in his mind. What if he built a robot that could sort and recycle trash? In his neighborhood, garbage piled up in the streets because people didn't separate recyclables from waste. If he could design a robot that could do it automatically, it wouldn't just impress Elon Musk, it could help his entire community. Determined, Isaiah got to work. He had no fancy lab, just a corner in the warehouse with a makeshift workbench covered in tools, wires, and old circuit boards. He spent every waking hour coding, assembling, and troubleshooting. But progress wasn't easy. One night, after hours of struggling with a faulty motor, he slammed his fist against the table in frustration. "Damn it," he muttered. A voice came from behind him. "Need a hand?" Isaiah turned to see an older man standing at the entrance. He had gray hair, glasses, and oil-stained hands. "The name's Mr. Harris," the man said. "Used to be an engineer. I've been hearing about what you're trying to do. Thought maybe I could help." Isaiah hesitated. He had never had a mentor before, but something in Mr. Harris's eyes told him he could trust him. Together, they worked late into the night. Mr. Harris taught Isaiah how to optimize the robot's motors, refine its code, and troubleshoot hardware issues. For the first time in his life, Isaiah wasn't learning from outdated internet tutorials. He was Leo, learning from experience. Days turned into nights, and nights into mornings. Isaiah barely ate, barely slept. His hands were covered in cuts from handling scrap metal, his eyes burned from staring at code for hours. But he kept going. Finally, with just 3 days left, his robot worked. It could scan, identify, and sort trash into 3 categories: recyclable, non-recyclable, and organic waste. It wasn't perfect, but it worked. He stared at his creation, exhaling sharply. "Elon Musk, you're gonna see this." The day of the presentation arrived. Tesla's headquarters was packed with engineers, executives, and media representatives. Isaiah felt out of place among the polished professionals, but he kept his head high. When his turn came, he stepped onto the stage, carrying his robot carefully. Elon Musk sat in the front row, watching him closely. Isaiah took a deep breath. 3 weeks ago, I stood in this room and told Mr. Musk that I built a robot in the streets. He gave me a challenge: make it solve a real-world problem. Today, I'm here to show you what I created. He placed the robot on the demonstration table and powered it on. The crowd leaned forward, watching intently. A conveyor belt fed a mixture of trash onto the table: plastic bottles, paper, food scraps. The robot's mechanical arm came to life, scanning each item with a basic AI system Isaiah had programmed. One by one, it sorted the trash into separate bins. The audience held their breath. Finally, as the last item was placed in the correct bin, the room erupted in applause. But then, click. The robot froze. The applause stopped. Isaiah's stomach dropped. He rushed to the robot, his hands shaking. The motor had overheated. He could hear whispers in the audience. He tried, but he's not ready for this level. Elon stood up and walked toward him. Isaiah panicked. Was this it? Had he failed? Instead, Elon simply asked, "Do you know what caused the problem?" Isaiah swallowed hard. "Yes, The motor's overheating because the load is too heavy. Elon picked up a tool from the table and handed it to him. Then, fix it. Isaiah's breath hitched. His mind raced. The world was watching. He forced his hands to stop shaking and opened the robot's casing. He had spent countless nights fixing this very issue. He could do this. Working quickly, he swapped out the motor for a spare he had brought, adjusted the wiring, and recalibrated the system. 10 minutes later, he stepped back and restarted the robot. This time, it worked flawlessly. The audience erupted into cheers. Elon clapped, stepping onto the stage. Now, that is what I like to see. Someone who doesn't give up when things go wrong. He turned to the audience. Innovation doesn't require expensive labs or degrees. It requires passion and determination. Then he looked back at Isaiah. You've earned your place at Tesla. But more than that, I want to help you turn this robot into something that can change the world. Isaiah felt his chest tighten. He had done it. He hadn't just built a robot. He had built his future.